get started in mountain pose. So go ahead and find your grounding in your feet. Taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Allowing ourselves to find our grounding, centering ourselves on the space around us. Focusing our attention on our breath. And you're welcome to keep your eyes open or closed. Drawing in new energy through the nose and releasing any tension or stress that we may be bringing with us to today's practice. Letting it go through our exhalations. And running ourselves through a body scan from head to toe, noting every area of the body, getting a sense of the mood of the body, any emotions that may be running through or energy, noting any lightness or heaviness, comfort or even discomfort. And setting an intention for today's practice. Perhaps it's affirming our strength, congratulating our determination to practice today. Always letting go of our expectations, judgment, and competition. And with smiles on our faces, we bring our attention back to the space around us and we slowly start to bounce, changing up the energy, slowly moving ourselves side to side, eyes open or closed, allowing the shoulders to shrug naturally, the arms to sway, bouncing at whatever level of vigor you need today, changing our energy, our patterns, and our neural pathways. Slowly starting to lift each heel off the ground as we sway side to side, shifting our body weight, and perhaps even allowing the head to fall forward, rolling the neck gently, allowing it to sway with our body movements, maybe even lifting the foot off the floor, one at a time, alternating sides. Paying attention to our breath, what's happening, how is it changing, what emotions are we holding in our faces and our necks. Let's go ahead and shake our hands left and right. And now forward and back. Bringing the arms up to the shoulders, shaking the hands again, left and right, maybe even shaking each foot, wiggling it around. Bringing the arms all the way up over the shoulders, and now flopping the hands forward and back. And a little more vigorously now, bouncing a little bit more, using our knees to absorb. Letting the head hang, flowing, bringing the arms all the way back down, side to side, forward and back. 10 more seconds. Maybe a little bit more vigorously now. Finish off with vitality and vigor, stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system and our immune system. 3, 2, 1. We'll slowly sway back into our neutral position, mountain pose, and running through once again head to toe body scan. taking note of any changes in our energy, the rhythm of our breath and our heart. Making fists with our hands. We'll go ahead and roll our necks side to side. Strong upper body dynamic tension in the arms. Rolling the head forward, left to right. Always an option to roll all the way around. Listening to our bodies and what feels most comfortable for us today. Let's do 2 more rolls. Good. Finding our neck back to neutral, rolling the shoulders, interlacing our palms in front of our bodies, pressing the hands away. On the inhale, we sink the lower back forward, tilting the pelvis. And on the exhale, we round back out, bringing the arms parallel to the floor, finding a flow that matches the rhythm of our breath. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, rounding out. Let's do 5 of these. Rising all the way back up, and we'll fold over into our side bend, keeping our hands interlaced, pressing the hands away, elongating the spine, keeping our glutes engaged, pressing the pelvis forward, breathing into the side body, expanding our rib cages laterally. 2 more breaths. Coming back to center on the inhale, elongating, pressing up, and on the exhale, we'll come over to the opposite side. Once again, pressing the pelvis forward, breathing into the side body, possibly even activating the Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, to help restore our inner calm. Two more breaths. On the next inhale, we come back to center. And we'll come side to side, releasing the hands, rolling forward and around, allowing the arms to flow, bending the knees, shifting the weight from leg to leg, arm to arm. Rounding out, circling, gently warming up the lower back. One more in this direction. And then you're welcome to change directions, coming as low as your body would allow today. Last one in this direction. And we'll come all the way back to mountain. Slowly finding ourselves grounded with our feet all the way through our bodies. Stepping out into our goddess position, wide-legged stance. We're going to run through our series of sun and moon flowers. On the inhale, we lift our arms up. On the exhale, we'll sink down into our goddess squat. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, sinking down, squatting into the legs gently and slowly, bringing our awareness to the strength of our legs. We'll do 2 more. And hold here in Goddess. Arms are extended from the shoulders. Palms are facing up, holding tall upper bodies, tucking the pelvis underneath us. Focusing on our calm strength. Noticing the breath. On the next inhale, we'll rise up and we'll come into our moonflowers, hinging at the hips, letting our arms float down towards the mat. Again, no expectation. There is no destination here that's set. Listening to our bodies, going with the flow of our breath, and allowing our breath to guide our movements. We'll do 2 more. And hold again down lower, bringing our hands onto the mat, onto our fingertips, straightening up our legs, pointing our toes forward. And we'll go ahead and we'll rock forward and back up on our heels and then on the balls of our feet, allowing our heads to lower, chins to chest. Bringing a little awareness to our feet, our ankles, and our calf muscles, as well as the hamstrings, possibly even the neck, allowing it to extend, releasing pressure between the vertebrae. One more rock forward and back. And we'll plant one hand underneath our faces, feeling free to wiggle our feet out a little bit wider, opening up our chest, reaching our other arm to the sky, pressing into the hand that's anchored and grounded on the mat. Deep breaths here. Once again, expanding the chest and the ribs. Last breath, lowering that upper hand down, replacing it over the grounded hand and opening up to the opposite side. Pressing firmly all 5 fingers, feeling a little bit of a stretch in the back body, gentle rotation. Reaching and extending that arm up. Of course, option to bring the arm behind the body. Good. On the next exhale, we'll lower the upper hand. Reposition our strength back into our legs and we'll slowly tap left and right, letting our arms float to the toes. Lateral lunging here. Finding a pace that works for you today. Warming up our legs. Let's do one more on each side. And then we'll come into a skandasana, so either holding a lunge with both feet firmly planted, or extending the leg, the foot flexing, sliding down, listening to your body. If you need to forward fold and round out the spine, that is fine. Support, or even opening up into a very strong bow and arrow. And of course, option of a bind behind, listening to our bodies, choosing whatever pose might be needed today. One more breath. And we'll go ahead and press ourselves up, coming over to the other side. Starting high again with both feet firmly planted, staying here if that's most comfortable, or allowing ourselves to play with the pose and finding one that is most suitable for us today. Of course, we have options, find or hold. One more breath. Good. Let's go ahead and press ourselves back to center. Knees now are bent. Our hands are coming in front of us one more time. We've got two poses here. We're straightening the legs and then bending. Straightening and bending. Working into the back body. Slowly starting to release tension we may be holding in our hamstrings. Be gentle. Working the hips, drawing a little more awareness to those hips as well as the hamstrings. Pressing back on the exhale, maybe a little bit deeper each time. And if you'd like to hold here, that is fine. Go ahead, hold or continue to move dynamically. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. Bending the knees one more time. And the alternative here is to do a little bit of a press up. Bending the elbows, bringing the elbows and the forearms a little closer to the mat. Again, there's no expectation. We're challenging our bodies. Focusing on our upper bodies and our core. You may be rolling up onto the balls of your feet. Let's do 2 more. Nice. Go ahead and straighten the legs out one more time. This time, option to interlace the hands over the back, allowing them to float forward parallel to the floor. Tucking our chins into our chests. And allowing the arms to float back down. Bringing our hands to the mat, we'll wiggle our feet in. Back into our mountain pose and slowly roll ourselves up, stacking 1 vertebrae at a time, shoulders, neck, and head. And we reset here. We're going to start with some hip circles, bringing a little bit more awareness to our hips, circling backwards. keeping our feet flexed, finding our stability and grounding as we replace one foot and lift the other. Let's change direction of our hip circles. This time drawing the knee backwards, coming back around to the front. Good. From here, we're stepping back into a reverse curtsy. So once again, bringing the leg forward, stepping back, bringing it back into 90 degrees, circling and stepping back, bringing it back to 90 degrees. Go ahead and alternate, finding our stability, challenging our bodies to stabilize in between. Finding a flow and a speed that works for you. And of course, option to tap down. Doing whatever works best for the arms. Tapping. We'll do 2 more on each side. Great. Coming back to center when you finish, and we're coming into a floating tree. Once again, allowing the foot to float. We'll stay on one side. Maybe even on a diagonal, maybe even going into a big toe hold. We have options here, finding a position with our foot naturally, holding it or allowing ourselves to challenge our stability today. Again, the goal is to find the natural resting place of our foot without torquing our back, maintaining a strong upper body and a tall spine. There is no destination, no expectation. Finding a placement with our hands. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Engaging the glutes. Finding a place to gaze at. Possibly taking a moment to reflect on our third eye. Three more breaths. And we'll release that foot and start our float on the opposite leg. Challenging our stability, our focus. Finding a placement for our foot and a point in the room for our gaze. Engaging our glutes. Dynamic tension of the upper body, tall spine. Feeling the grounding of our foot, all four corners of it, pressing into the mat. 2 more breaths. And we'll go ahead and release that leg back down to the ground, giving both legs a little bit of a shake, wiggling our feet, rolling the ankles. Good. The next dynamic stretch will be into our cactus warrior 3. Tucking in, coming straight to standing is an option. Of course, we're floating here into our warrior 3. On the inhale, we rise up, reset. Exhale, bringing ourselves somewhat parallel to the floor. Doing whatever works best for your arms. Of course, we can reach forward. We can stay crunched in and extend, working more so the glutes. Listening to our bodies. Playing around with the flow and the poses. Let's do 3 more. Holding and stepping back into crescent lunge. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up. Finding our stability. Our weight is centered over both legs. Feeling the dynamic tension in the front lunged leg as well as up on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, rising up, pressing the front leg. Inhale, coming down. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, coming back into our lunge. We'll keep this motion going. Rising up and lunging down. Two more. Holding here, coming into a power lunge with the arms reaching back alongside our body, ensuring that our hips are forward facing, trying to draw the thighs in. Torsos are about 45-degree angle. Go ahead and rock back and forward on the back foot. Again, working the ball of the foot, the front of the foot, the ankle. Feeling the tension in our glutes, building our strength. Maintaining our presence in this challenging moment, knowing that it's only temporary. But this time straightening the front leg and bending it back down. Four more. Starting to light up, building our strength and our determination. Good. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, coming into a pyramid. Back foot is at about a 45-degree angle, allowing the hands to fall wherever they will naturally. Possibly on the thigh, the shin, lower down, finding our blocks as available and needed. Feeling the back of that leg light up. Release tension slowly with each exhale. Good. Bending the front knee, bringing both feet together. We'll come into vinyasa. Inhale, rising up to mountain. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. And we'll do 2 more. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart. Going to the motion of your breath. One more. Good. Resetting here. We'll come back through our cactus arms, floating warrior 3 sequence, lifting the opposite leg off the ground, coming to standing, crunching, holding, flowing, finding whichever flow works best for you today. Remember, starting with the grounding of our foot. We'll do 2 more. On this next one, we'll step back into crescent lunge. Again, finding our stability, centering our core in the middle of both legs, feeling dynamic tension in both legs. Holding here for another breath. On the inhale, we'll swoop the arms up. Exhale, come back down. Lunging and straightening, following the rhythm of our breath. Four more. Holding this one down, coming into a power lunge. Torso is 45 degrees to the floor, extending the arms, dynamic tension, reaching back along the sides of the body. And let's go ahead and shift our weight forward and back on the back foot, pressing the heel back towards the mat. Bringing our awareness to the ankle, the front of the foot, the calf muscle. Good, and we'll shift our focus to the front of the body, pressing our back foot back, and we'll go ahead and straighten the front leg. Straighten and lunge. Straightening and lunging. Once again, maintaining our focus and presence in this moment, finding our inner strength, fighting through this challenging moment, noticing the sensations and also acknowledging them, that they're only temporary. And we'll rise up, inhale, straightening the front leg, lifting our arms, and then coming into pyramid pose, allowing the hands to lower to the leg wherever they might, on the shin, the knee, or the calf muscle, reaching down to the ground, possibly even sinking a little deeper with every exhalation. Keeping our hips forward facing, the thighs are drawing in together. Great. Bending the front knee, drawing the back foot in together. Inhale, rising up. Let's do 2 vinyasas. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Micro bend in the knees. One more. Inhale, flat back. Holding here, bringing our hands down to the mat, stepping back into a plank position. Bringing our feet together, we're up on the toes, hands are underneath the shoulders. Of course, you can come down into a forearm plank, but hold this as long as you can. We're going to do a series of planks and down dogs. So finding our way, now that we've got our plank position, torsos are parallel to the floor. We'll come into down dog and just rotate back and forth, plank to down dog. Again, here bringing a little more awareness to our wrists and the grounding of our hands. Lifting our knees up as we engage the quadriceps. Let's do 2 more. Option to come into child's pose at any time, or even to hold a down dog. Holding here, bringing our left leg off the ground, tucking it in, and we'll circle around. A little more challenging. Circle the other direction. And we'll switch feet, drawing the opposite leg in, underneath the chest, circling it around. Switching directions. Yes, great. And press back into down dog. Holding here, allowing the heads to hang heavy, drawing the neck nice and long, allowing the vertebrae to separate, while pressing the feet back towards the mat, shifting our weight and pedaling as needed. Our next plank sequence, with our left legs, we'll come into a plank, tucking the left knee into our chest and extending back out. Tucking in and extending. Pressing the right heel towards the mat. Pressing through. Going to our own speed. Celebrating our strength. Two more. Holding the left leg all the way up, bending at the knee, rotating, pivoting so that the pelvis is facing forward. Looking up underneath the armpit, drawing our strength from the right arm, noticing the diagonal dimension that we're creating in this pattern. Good. Rotating the hips all the way back down, lowering ourselves into child's pose, one knee at a time, extending the hands to the end of the mat, sinking back into our heels. And taking a moment here to shift the weight left and right. Extended child's pose. Catching our breath, taking a sip of water. Maybe even reaching for your towels. On the next inhale, we'll lift ourselves back into all fours. And press ourselves back into down dog. On the exhale, we'll do the same sequence with our right leg. Taking a moment first to press our heels, alternating left and right, pedaling them out. Good. And with our right leg this time, we'll lift it up and then we'll draw it in, drawing the knee into the chest in our plank, pressing back into our single leg dog, and plank to down dog, finding our flow. Pressing the left heel towards the mat. One more. And we'll hold this one at the top, bending the knee, rotating the pelvis open, stacking the knee on top. Once again, finding our gaze possibly underneath the armpit. Bringing our awareness to the breath and our strong sense of calm and strength. Good. Go ahead and rotate back, lowering the right knee to the mat, bringing the left knee in to match it, and sink back into child's pose, extending the hands long on the mat. This time allowing the forehead or the chin to fall towards the mat. Great. Inhale, coming back into all fours. Coming back into our plank to down dog. We'll do a little bit more of a flow this time, pressing up and back down into all fours. Pressing up, floating back through down dog, pressing the heels, and then floating all the way into plank and all fours. You are welcome here to add a cobra, a chaturanga, an upward facing. Just flow through whichever of the poses feel most comfortable for you today, or even most challenging. Again, depending on what your practice needs, what your body needs, go ahead and flow through. We'll do 2 more flows. Good, and meet up back in all fours. Lifting the heels off the mat, go ahead and rotate the ankles and the feet, wiggling them around. Good. Back into our plank here. We've got one more sequence. Pivoting the feet towards one direction, lifting our hands off the ground, lifting the hips. We're in a side plank, finding our grounding in the hand. One more breath. Lowering down onto the forearm of the opposite arm and pivoting, opening up into a forearm plank here, opposite side. Lifting the hips, pressing through the feet. And go ahead and lower the upper arm, coming all the way into a forearm plank here. Good, inhale, lowering ourselves down nice and gently. Gentle cobra. Elbows are underneath our shoulders. Inhale, lifting the torso, drawing the spine forward, lifting the chest. Taking note of our breath, finding calm and stillness in the rhythm of our breath. Good. On the exhale, we press back up, curling our toes under into our forearm plank, rotating to the opposite side. You thought we were done. Coming up onto our full arm plank on the opposite side, pushing ourselves up, pivoting to the opposite side, lifting our arm, reaching up, drawing the hips up as well. One more breath. Push through the shaking. Lower the hand down, coming into child's pose, this time with the legs a little bit wider. Knees are reaching out towards the edges of the mat. Toes come together. And we sink back into our hips. Great. Option to hang out here on your forearms, holding, taking a moment to focus inwards on our third eye, on our breath, our happy place. Alternatively, we can bring our foreheads to the mat, even bring our arms beyond and interlace them above our backs. Moving around, rolling the forehead, shifting our weight side to side. All options. Finding our pose, our resting position. Good. One more breath. Bringing our hands to the sides of our shoulders and heads, we'll press ourselves up gently, bringing our knees together. We'll slowly lower ourselves down onto our backs in supine pose. Gentle transition, another chance to grab a sip of water. Good. And once you're ready, lowering ourselves down on the mat gently, one vertebrae at a time. Starting out for hip bridges. Bringing our arms along the sides of our bodies. Feet are about hip width apart, firmly planted. Knees are stacking over top of the ankles. On the inhale, we lift our glutes off the mat, lifting the pelvis towards the ceiling. On the exhale, we lower back down, one vertebrae at a time. Reset and repeat. Inhale, we lift up. Exhale, we lower down. Once again, going to the motion and the rhythm of our breath, letting our breath guide us. Finding a box breath here is an option. Feeling the neck release any residual tension. Noticing the chin being drawn up towards the chest towards the chin. We'll do 2 more. Lowering all the way down, drawing both knees into the chest, giving them a nice hug. Rolling side to side option. Curling up like a caterpillar as well might be an option, lifting the shoulders and the upper back off the mat. And we'll do another hip bridge. So finding our feet back, hip width apart, firmly planted. This time we'll alternate marches. So on the inhale, we lift up. We bring our one leg off the mat, other leg off the mat, and lower. Inhale up. March the feet up and down and lower. We'll do 2 more like this. Good. This time we're lifting our right leg off the mat. We're extending it. We're sinking back down into our single leg hip bridge. Doing 1 and then lowering, switching legs. Extend up, hip bridge, and lower. Alternating sides optional. Of course, you have the option to keep both feet grounded. Either a dynamic hip bridge or a hold. Challenging yourself to the maximum potential. And we'll do 2 more on each side, or at least 2 more breaths. And we'll all meet up back in our Apasana hug. Good. Go ahead and tuck those knees in, giving them a big hug. Either bringing our arms on top of the shins or behind the thigh muscles. One more dynamic move here for us today. Bringing both legs all the way up over the hips, pressing the heels towards the sky, flexing the feet. And we're coming into our L scissor legs, so reaching our arms long, bringing both feet together, scissoring the legs, reaching and stacking, alternating feet. Slow and steady, resetting in the center. Slow is the new strong. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, reset. Last chance to activate the PNS. Bringing our Ujjayi breath to the front. Two more on each side. Digging deep here. Strengthening, maintaining our presence during this challenging moment. There we go. And holding here, allowing our shoulders and our arms to come down to the mat. Ah, yay for that. Bringing our knees into our armpits, either wrapping the hands around the fronts of the feet or grabbing onto the toes. And we'll slowly extend each leg, left and right. Happy baby with a leg extension option. Bringing our awareness back to the breath, the rhythm of the heart. congratulating ourselves for getting through a challenging session. Taking a few more breaths here. Working through our tension. Maybe even extending both legs at the same time. Feeling our shoulder blades press back into the mat, as well as our hips, maybe even our lower backs. Option to hold happy baby, rock side to side. And we'll go ahead and bring the bottoms of the feet together, wrapping our hands around them, pressing the knees away, butterfly pose here, drawing the heels into our center. And you have a few breaths to move into any final movements you may like to do today. Possibly an asana, an upward facing bow, a plow, what have you. I will extend my feet above my hips. Just adding a little extra lymphatic drainage to my practice today, wiggling my ankles around. But perhaps you'd rather come into a plow or an upward bow. Again, take a few moments now to find a final movement or pose you would like to add to your practice. And when you're ready, come into Shavasana. We'll find our stillness together, coming back to the breath. Allowing the palms to fall open, facing towards the sky. Drawing our attention to the breath. Noticing the rising and falling of our chest or our abdomen. Taking a moment to reflect on an affirmative word, something positive that we can take with us into the coming days. Reminding ourselves how strong we are, how determined, how courageous and brave we are. Eliminating any negative thoughts or words and imprinting only positivity on our neural pathways, our minds, and our bodies. Finding that one word that may resonate with us today, repeating it in our minds. I am brave. I am brave. I am brave. I have courage. I have compassion. And with smiles on our faces, we give thanks for the opportunity to practice together. And we'll give thanks for something somebody may have done or said in the recent days that have made us smile and feel loved, appreciated, or supported. When you're ready, you are welcome to roll yourselves up slowly, pressing up, bringing our awareness and attention back to the space around us. Taking our energy and compassion with us into our homes, our families and friends, sharing that light with them and the new strength that we have developed here today. Thank you all for joining. I wish you an amazing evening. Namaste.